What's going on, family, man? It's your boy Uncle P, man, and I have a very exciting guest, man. Election time is fastly approaching, right? November. I don't know the date of the election, but when it pops up, make sure you're out there and you're voting. So we have 3 names on the ballot. We have the incumbent, Miss Portia West. We have Stefan Roots. And we have Kearni Warren. Now, if you're in the neighborhood and you've been seeing this lovely lady out there talking about her hopes of becoming a city council person, city council woman, her name is Kearni Warren, right? So, I seen it, and I'm calling everybody. I'm like, yo, I need to talk to her, right? The people need to hear from her. So we want everybody to share this live one time for the one time, right? Make sure we get this out there, and we're going to have this interview. And we're going to talk to Miss Kearni Warren. How you doing, Miss Warren? How you feeling?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. So first and foremost, everyone wants to know, who is Kearni Warren? What are your likes, your dislikes, and why are you running for Chester City Council?
Well, I am an author. I am an advocate. I am a creative, a speaker, and a lover of all human life. And my sole purpose on earth is to empower and to help others find their light.
That's awesome, right? That's a lot. Why Chester City Council?
I'm a resident in Chester,
Okay.
JP, and I was born and raised in Chester, born in the Sacred Heart Hospital, lived in the Bennett Homes projects or neighborhood. My grandmother lived there until 2015, so I spent my childhood and adulthood back and forth throughout the Bennett. My mother, Reverend Bernice Warren, was a activist in the city. She was a minister. She was the director and pastor of Chester Eastside. If she did not directly touch a person's life, then she indirectly touched a person's life. She instilled in me values of what a true Chester leader is, one with respect, dignity, and truth. And because of my upbringing to give back to my community, I have decided to run for city council because as a resident, I too am am subjected to the issues that we face here in Chester. I too don't get my trash picked up on time. I too see trash juice that's left from the trash trucks. I too have my trash cans thrown in the street. I too have to travel outside of Chester, which I don't like, for other options of recreational opportunities. So there are things that I experience as a resident, as a neighbor, that has called me to want to change things. You and I were speaking a little bit earlier, and I told you that this is not of my choosing. Right. This run for city council is bigger than myself. It's a calling that I got from, for those of you who are religious, I am, or spiritual, I should say. It's a calling that I received from God. I was at a point in my life where I wasn't feeling fulfilled. Right. And I was working in advocacy. I was working with my union. I was meeting with my legislators in Pennsylvania constantly on a daily basis, helping to get healthcare legislation passed, helping home care workers, healthcare workers, social justice issues. And I still just wasn't feeling like that was it for me. And wanting to move away to a place that could serve my needs, which was more creativity, more options, things of that sort, I had to talk with God. Why do you have me still here? My mother, grandfather passed away. I no longer have to be a caregiver. My grandmother, who's still living, who's 96, she has caregivers now. So I no longer had to be her full-time caregiver. Why? What is my purpose? For the first time in a long time, I was feeling like I didn't have purpose. And that scares me. I've never been a person who did not know what my purpose was. And I was feeling that way. And he said to me, stop running away to where you want to go and try to make where you are what you're running away to. And I thought, no, that's not the answer that I want to hear. And I cried. I cried about it. And the next morning, I gave my 2 weeks to my job, not knowing what I was going to do, gave my 2 weeks to my job, and I received an email that had been sitting in my message box for a couple of days. I didn't see it. So when I opened it up, someone emailed me and asked, Kearni, would you consider running for city council? Wow. This was after the primaries. Okay. And I thought, wow, is this what you meant, God? Is this why you said to stay? Because when you said it, I didn't know what you meant or why. But now maybe this might be it. This might be it. Right. And I thought, this was not what I had my eyes set on. I had my eyes set on another seat in public office. And, when things are meant to be, when opportunities are given to you from a spiritual level, your resources will just begin to fall into place. And you don't have to ask questions. You don't have to search for resources. They will just appear. And that's what happened. Right. Resources started appearing. And I, as an obedient person that I am of God, I had to learn that along the way. Absolutely. I didn't just appear that way. But now that I'm older, as an obedient person, I realized that I had to listen, because throughout my life, trying to do things on my own, it's always why I was coming and going, pulling and pushing, things never really working out for a lasting period of time. Right. And so I said, I have to listen. And sometimes I learned in one of my business classes is that you can't dictate what the people need. You have to give them what they tell you they need. And the Lord was telling me, this is what I need for you to do. And then going out talking to the community, I realized this is time. If not me, then who? Right. If not me, really, then who?
So we've had that conversation before. If not me, then who? Right? And some people can be it can slap some people and be like, what you mean if not you then? But that's a real statement, because there's no one else stepping up or has stepped up in the last 10 years to go against the people that are in power now, right? So the question I have is, where have you been, right? Before now, where were you 5 years ago? Where were you 7 years ago, 8 years ago? So, let me know.
So I have to do the math in my head. So 5 years ago was 2016, right?
Yep.
So 2016, let me just go back. You said, let's go back to 2012. So I've been back and forth to Chester. In 2012 was the last time that I moved away.
Right.
I moved to LA.
Okay.
I had returned to graduate school, or going to graduate school for television management.
All right.
And I achieved my dream job before I even finished the first semester.
Wow.
I was the assistant director on the Sunny Side Up show, which is filmed, well, it's defunct now. It's no longer in existence. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. This is it.
Right.
How, and I went back to school because I knew the type of person I am. I knew that I could not afford to move to New York or LA at the time. And when I'm granted an opportunity, I just take it.
Right.
I go for it and I take it. And I knew that I needed some way to get in front of people who could present an opportunity to me. And for me, it was going to graduate school for television. Okay. So, that was my dream job, and I later encountered racism, and I had a choice to make, and I made a difficult decision, and that decision was to report it. And so I was a contractor. My contract would end, and they would renew it.
Right.
My contract ended, and it wasn't renewed.
Wow.
It just, wasn't renewed.
Right.
So I'm like, well, what am I going to do now? That was, my dream job. I was crushed.
Right.
I was crushed.
I believe you were.
And then I had money, student debt.
Right.
And I ran out of money, to pay for school. So one of my friends lived in LA at the time and offered me to come out to start job searching, because if you're in LA, you know that if you're looking for a job there, you need to have an address, because people come and go in LA, and they're not, if you don't have an address, or if they don't talk to you and get a true sense of that you want to stay, it's hard to get a job.
It's absolutely hard to get a job.
And so the person offered me to come out there to job hunt, and I just, at the time, I couldn't. I was working. I had to find another job. I went into banking, which for me was just, it was horrible, to say the least. I don't want to say that. For me, it was, because it was sitting at a desk. I'm a creative. Right. I had a taste of what I
had and wanted
to do. Right. And so anything after that was just horrible to me. Right. I mean, I had to punch a clock, and every time I got up to go to the bathroom, I had to clock in, clock out. It was just horrible. Right. And so opportunity came and said, well, why don't you just come on out and move? And I thought, oh yeah, right. If I was in my late teens or 20s, I would do that. But eventually the person said, I don't want to hear you complaining about this job. I'm giving you an opportunity, and either you're going to take it or you're not. Right. I decided to take it. I'm a risk taker. Absolutely. I took it. And so I moved to LA. When I got there, it was hard finding a job. It was hard, and I spent my days in a library looking for jobs every single day. Every single day, until one day, this woman who, she was like a second mother when I got there, and she said to me, so what are you doing? How's LA treating you? Are you going on interviews, And I said, no, she's like, well, I said, no, I'm just, in the library every day. She said, well, what did you come out here for, Kearni? I said, to produce and to direct. She said, exactly. So why are you in the library every day? Yeah. Is anyone forcing you to work right now? No. So you're wasting valuable time trying to get a job so that you can do what you want to do.
Right. So do what you want to do.
So do what you want to do.
It's kind of what my counselor told me, right? My therapist told me.
And look where you are, right? Look,
Absolutely. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing my job.
so that's the key to anyone listening. Just do it.
Right.
Just do it.
Right.
So in 2013, my aunt, my beloved aunt, who was a band director here, music teacher here in the city, Shirley Warren, she was pivotal. She was so critical. She was important to my development, to my creativity. And she, you know, I didn't mention this, but I didn't tell my family that I was moving to LA.
You just up and left.
Until a week before. And she was sick at the time. And I had pushed my date back until she got better, but she helped me. She helped me get to LA.
Right.
And she passed away 1 year on the day that I moved. 1 year. And I'm spiritual. I won't get into all to it, but I felt something.
Right.
So when I came back, a little after her funeral, I wasn't feeling like I needed to go back to LA because everything in the house reminded me of she was a supporter.
Right.
And I was worried about my grandmother, and she ended up having a stroke.
Right.
So I became her caregiver in 2013, 2014. When she died in 2016, my mom became ill 1 month after that.
Right.
And then my mother passed away in 2018. Wow. So I've been back here since 2013, full-time, as a caregiver.
I was a caregiver.
Not working full-time in other areas, but as a caregiver. Right. As a member of my union, also trying to, determine what I could do.
Right.
So I have a creative background, so I did some acting and, working as a host for a web series. I worked for a couple of media companies, trying to bring a little bit of income in that I could as a caregiver, but very difficult. We're fighting for raising the minimum wage right now.
Absolutely.
So that's where I've been. So for the last 8 years, I've been in Chester, but as a caregiver for a grandmother who's 96 now, and my mom, and another grandmother who passed away.
Wow. So you've been giving your time to your family, right?
I devoted my entire life to my family. And I started caregiving when I was 25.
Wow.
I was in Arizona, and I came back here when my grandfather got sick, and he was the first person that I became a caregiver for.
Wow. That's wow. So now you're running, right, for Chester City Council. How has that been?
It's been interesting. I've had to face hard truths. And I had experience in the political realm working for SEIU Healthcare Pennsylvania, which is the union that I belong to, and United Home Care Workers of Pennsylvania. So I've been a member of those unions for 7 years, and I moved into working for them full time. And so my job as an employee has been to lobby. I was a member political organizer, and a member lobbyist. So meeting with elected officials here. And so it's been interesting. It's been challenging. I have felt like I've been in the wilderness with this without having any type of mentorship. So it's been on my own.
Right.
I have a small support system that encourages me to keep going.
Keep pushing.
It's extremely difficult for me emotionally that my mother is not here. My mom was a
rock. Right.
She was a warrior. She was a beast in this city. And she felt that she could do more as an individual than in politics. So she never wanted to get involved in politics that way. She wanted to help people, but she did not just want to have handouts. She wanted to be an action agency that encouraged and empowered people. And so my way of keeping her legacy alive and just giving back to my community is to use the opportunities that I've been granted to help this city,
Right.
to help my neighbors, to help the children, the youth.
So you said your mother didn't want to engage in politics. Why do you now want to engage in politics?
I feel that this is my calling. As a young child, my mother would always say to me, repeat to me, watch the company you keep. You might want to run for political office one day.
Right.
And my entire life of service, I've lived a life of service. Under her, on my own, I've been a substitute teacher in this school district.
Wow.
I have been a math and reading tutor in the school district. I have been a mentor in Chester. For 6 years, I produced fashion show fundraisers at junior high schools in Chester. Wherever for the music department, I had a VH1 sponsored Save the Music show once. So from 2005 to 2011, I was producing fashion shows in junior high schools here. 100% of the proceeds would go to the music department. And it was funded by myself and from my aunt, Shirley, that passed away. I had a vision, and she had the opportunity to try to make it happen.
Absolutely.
And she did for me. And those 6 years were the greatest moments in my life, working with the young women in this city. I've worked for organizations, the Achievement Project of Chester, that followed young people from 9th grade to 12th grade, providing supplemental education. So I was a mentor there. I worked with my mother. I have attended the school board meetings in the past. So I have lived a life of service my entire life, starting out as a teenager, working in vacation Bible schools here, Christian summer camps here in Chester. So I'm not new to this, actually. People may not know me because I move in silence, but I have been doing the work. And over this last year, I've been doing the work on the state and federal level to increase wages for average Americans. I fasted for 3 days in the snow and cold in Pittsburgh when the parliamentarian removed the minimum wage increase out of the American Recovery Act. So myself and 2 other home care workers hit the streets and fasted. So I'm a fighter.
Right.
I'm a justice seeker. And that's why I'm running for city council here in Chester, because as a resident, again, I too experience the issues that we are suffering with. And I want to make a change, and I want to make a real difference, not just saying I'm going to do it, but I want the people of Chester to be empowered to also get involved. So when I talk to people, I tell them you have to get involved. If I win, I can't do it on my own.
Right.
I need you to help. I don't claim to have the answers to everything, but what I can say is I will fight for you, because that's what I've been doing.
Right. We got a question. Jim McLaughlin said he would love to hear how your role in SEIU has shaped your philosophy and your motivation for community service.
So my role with SEIU as a member organizer and a political organizer has been to empower the members of our union to get involved politically, because so many people don't realize that the legislation and the policies that we have in place impact our daily lives. It's not just so much who's sitting at the table as an individual, but it's the mentality and the mindset and the legislation that's being passed that we have to fight for. So SEIU gave me my voice, or it helped my voice get louder. It was a place for me to express myself. I was very angry last year, Pierre, during COVID. and with all of the police brutality that was going on. And it scared me. I'm not a person that gets angry. And it scared me, and I didn't know what to do with those emotions. And I became more involved with my union as a member. And then as the months progressed, I became an employee. And I thought, wow, this is my duty to fight. My duty is to fight for my members. My duty is to fight for the residents in Pennsylvania. So SEIU has played a major role in my philosophy of being a fighter and speaking truth to power. They've given me my voice. I became a speaker, a spokesperson for them on different issues, whether it was environmental racism, environmental justice, healthcare legislation, legislation for home care. Right now, we're still fighting. So they have played an important role in my life.
Are they backing you?
We will see that
Right.
in the future.
Okay.
We will see what happens with that in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the thing that throws everybody off is you're not running under a Democrat or a Republican, right? You're Green Party.
Yes.
Can you explain for people that don't know what the Green Party is, and why you chose that party?
Right. So I think one of the reasons we're in such a mess here in Chester is because of this putting the party over people. I'm not for a party, I'm for the people.
Okay.
The Green Party is a party that stands for social justice and environmental justice.
Wow.
That is their platform.
Right.
Their issues, the four main issues are peace, nonviolence, social justice, ecology, and social justice, ecology, peace, and democracy.
Democracy.
Yes.
Okay.
And with that said, there are values that the Green Party believes in that go along with those issues the platform that I just mentioned. And some of the key issues that the Green Party believes in are grassroots democracy and equal opportunity, respect for diversity, community-based economics, future focus and responsibility,
Right.
gender equality and feminism, decentralization, ecological wisdom, and much more. So when you speak about the Green Party, for anyone who wants to see justice and equity, not just equality, but equity in this country, this is what the Green Party stands for. They believe in green politics, green communities, which means that the focus is on ecology,
Right.
which is the relationship between humans and the environment.
Even the environment.
And what falls under that are all the social issues that we experience on a daily basis.
I mean, if we really think about it, right? You know, this two-party situation is the reason why we're constantly fighting, right? Red and blue, right? So let's add the Green Party in there and see if we can get some peace going on. We have a question from Mr. Russell Little. What is your opinion concerning Chester's financial crisis?
I believe that one of the reasons Chester continues to be in a financial crisis is the mismanagement of resources and finances. And so, you know, one of my platform issues is financial responsibility.
Right. Financial irresponsibility or financial responsibility?
Financial responsibility.
What does financial responsibility look like?
Financial responsibility is the opposite of mismanagement of funds. It's taking, you know, the budgets, what we get, and doing right with those monies and how to benefit or how it benefits the residents in this city.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's fast forward. Let's say November, you win. What's one of the first things you're trying to see get done for the city of Chester?
So that's a heavy question.
Right.
There's so much that I want to see. So one of the first things that I would like to see. Well, first let me say it this way. I will be coming if I win. I will be walking into a difficult
right,
situation.
absolutely.
And I don't make any promises about being able to change anything when I come in, because number one, I am not a part of the regime, so there will be some pushback. I expect. I should not say that there will be. I should say I expect, because what it seems to me is that I am not going along with what the mindset of our current leadership has.
Right.
So I think it would be irresponsible for me to say the first thing I want to see happen when I get into office versus what are some of the things that I will fight for when I get into office.
Okay, what will you fight for?
I will fight for, number one, this trash
Right.
situation,
Right.
the trash pickup, recreational opportunities for our children.
Right.
You know, we have a pool. It's on one side of the
We need a bigger
of the
pool.
Chester,
Right.
but not just a bigger pool. We need recreational opportunities year round for our
So we need an indoor pool.
indoor
need a
pool.
why.
Why we
Right.
need maybe
Yeah,
a movie theater. We need a lot of
need
things.
a lot of things.
We need viable businesses to come into the city.
What does that look like?
Viable businesses coming into the city would look like, for one, a grocery store.
A grocery store.
You know, we have a lot of organizations, and I commend them all, that help with food distribution.
Right.
You know, we live in a food insecure place, a food desert.
A food desert.
But I don't want to see, moving forward, any more handouts for our people. I want us to be empowered to build up the businesses from our residents, that, you know, the entrepreneurships of our residents. Let's help them establish themselves more. Let's get a grocery store. Let's get other businesses in this city. The parks upkeep. I was at Memorial Park not too long ago, and the grass and bushes are growing over the park benches. And we have beautiful parks here in Chester.
Yes,
and
we do.
But they haven't been kept. Our communities need to be safer. I would love to work with organizations in Chester that are working on, and mentioned, you yourself mentioned what you're working with as far as curtailing gun violence.
Absolutely.
My major concern, one of my major concerns, is the incinerator here, Covanta. I've been very outspoken about Covanta. It is the largest trash burning incinerator in the country.
Right.
We burn trash from Oklahoma, New York, Ocean City, Maryland, other states, 21 counties in Pennsylvania. And we can't get our trash picked up in a timely fashion.
And that's crazy, right?
It's crazy. And the incinerator causes health issues.
Absolutely.
We have high rates of asthma here. If you research air pollution, you will find that air pollution is a cause of early death, stroke, heart conditions, low birth weight,
Yes.
COPD, a lot of ailments that we see in our city. So we know that air pollution is a cause of health issues. So I would like to see the incinerator gone.
The incinerator definitely has to go, right? And I mean, that's the only way we're going to be able to build up the waterfront. That's the only way we're going to be able to take advantage of the prime real estate that we have down there as a city, right? So that no one's going to build anything down there close to that incinerator. And so you don't want to be a trash town. You have to build your waterways up. So How do you think you're going to work on a team with current council, right? You know, do you foresee having a tough time to get things done? And what because we have two that are up, right? Two positions that are up. I guess they'll be rotated around, right? When new people take on Stefan Roots or yourself if you win. What department would you like to head up?
Well, I'm clearly after Portia West's seat, and that is the trash that has to deal with the right. trash, and that's my main reason of why I'm getting into this race.
Okay.
So I am a fighter. Mm-hmm. Challenges are not new to me. I can't tell you, what the future is going to hold. I hope that I will be able to work as a team. I don't have a problem with working as a team member, but there are some clear differences in my wishes and what has been taking place from the leaders that we currently have. So I hope that we can work together, because being in public office, you're a public servant. Your job is to serve the public, to serve your constituents, to serve the people. And to be a great leader, you have to serve first.
You better serve first.
So my job, if I win, is to serve the people. And by doing that means whatever I need to do to carry out the wishes of Chester residents, the needs, is to make that loud and clear with the other elected officials. Right. And how we go about doing that has to be seen. Right. I would leave that up to those who are already in office right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want you to describe your attitude in one word. One word that best describes you.
Optimistic.
Optimistic. Optimistic. So as an optimist, you look at things and you see good things, right? In your optimistic view, how do you see the city of Chester?
Chester is a gold mine. Mm-hmm. And I believe that there's a saying, until you know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. And we have a generation of young people, or even some older, maybe, who have no idea of the greatness that Chester was and what it can be. Right. A visionary sees the future of what it can be. I am a visionary. Right. But I also know where I come from, so I know where I'm going. And I believe it starts with that. Informing people where we started. Martin Luther King Jr. Attended school here. He walked these streets in Chester. He had his first sermon, I believe, at Calvary Baptist Church. Yes. Growing up, I would hear such great stories of the different clothing stores that were here, the different theaters that were here, the stop along from going from the south to the north or from the north to the south, all of the great musicians that stopped in here. I remember growing up, my Aunt Shirley, who was a music teacher, she had a album that said Dizzy Gillespie, live in Chester, 1976. Wow. That just stood in my head. Right. I think about my mother when she went to Guatemala in the 12th grade and she saw made in Chester Scott paper on the toilet tissue dispenser in a restroom. Right. So many that come from Chester do wonderful things, whether we started out that way or we progressed into that. Right. And our residents, our young people, they need to know that they have the same opportunities despite what people think. Right. You know, a lot of times I get frustrated because there's so much money in poverty. Mm-hmm. And we have to think about that. We have to think about, why does our zip code look different than other zip codes? We deserve the same.
Absolutely.
You know, structural racism reinforces slavery.
Absolutely.
Okay? Slavery helped build wealth and power for white people. This is a predominantly black city.
Right.
There's so much talent here.
Absolutely.
There's a reason why the soccer stadium is here that's called Philadelphia Union.
Right.
There's a reason that the casino is Philadelphia's Harris, that's here. Right. I almost lost my mind when I was in downtown one day and I saw a Philadelphia's Harris shuttle bus going through Rittenhouse. I thought, what in the world?
It's supposed to be Chester.
It's going, but Rittenhouse, I thought, oh my gosh, they're picking up people from Rittenhouse.
Absolutely.
Going
Yep.
And I don't know if they were actually picking up people, but I saw it. I was in Rittenhouse.
Right.
And then Weiner University is here. So let's just think about that. If our city is just so horrible as the narrative is, why would those three major entities be here?
Right.
Why? Why would they be here if
no reason for them to be here?
So hard. If it's so horrible, I want people to think about that.
We don't think about that. No, we don't.
But we need to. We need to think about why is it that we normalize certain behaviors. I can remember with my grandma being in the Bennett, there'd be trash piled up. That's not normal. No, it's not normal now to live in the Bennett with those metal doors and windows that are covered. I mean, it looks like, I compared a picture to prison.
Right.
I've never been in prison, but from the pictures, the doors and what's covering the windows.
Those are abandoned buildings, though.
They're abandoned, but think about the imprint
that it leaves on the children.
That it leaves
on the young children.
You talk about the people call certain areas the trap. That's
definitely the trap.
It's the trap.
Right.
You know the song Nas and the Isley Brothers.
Right.
Project windows, looking out my project window, I feel so uninspired. Looking out of my project window, it makes me feel so tired.
Wow.
What are the residents seeing when they look out their project windows? What are they seeing? Are they seeing hope?
No.
Are they seeing inspiration?
No. Hopelessness.
Right. And it's all over the city.
Everywhere.
The people that I've talked to, I've been out in these streets. I've been talking to people. Right. I've been talking to young people.
Absolutely.
And it's the same. I'm hearing the same thing. The same thing. The
no matter
same
where you
conversation. No matter where matter where I go.
Some village, the project, the east side. Every
matter.
Young man saying the same exact thing.
And it hurts me. It hurts. Because we were kings and queens. You know, we were used to build the wealth and power of this country.
Absolutely.
We were in the South to cultivate the land, and then we came up north to talk about the textiles and industrialization of this country. So we need to know where we come from. We need to know that our culture, everything starts with us. Absolutely. From the food, you know, the trends, what we say. You know, we need to know these things.
Absolutely. And if we don't know them, we remain hopeless. It's like as soon as you figure out what your ancestors did and what they discovered and what they were able to do with the little bit of stuff that we had, right? It should open your eyes a little bit more to know that you have those same exact things, if not just a little bit more advanced, right in front of your face. That there's absolutely nothing you can't do. Like I love this conversation, right? I appreciate you for stopping through. Is there anything you want to say to the people before you leave, right? Because I want you to come back up here again, right? But you know, I want that to be on your calling, right? But definitely anything you want to say to the people before election or Just anything that you're feeling right now at this moment.
First, I would like to say that Election Day is November 2nd. Before you can vote for me or anyone else, you have to make sure that you're registered to vote. I want you to apply for your mail-in ballot and to make sure you send that in. All of the due dates are on my website for the last day to register to vote, the last day to turn in your mail-in ballot, and to apply for a mail-in ballot. If you have any questions, I encourage people to check out my website. If you have questions, you can send me an email on the email form on my website. And I just want to say thank you for having me here. I hope that I've been able to answer questions about who I am for the residents. I hope that you find me to be someone who is transparent. I'm an everyday person like you, my neighbors. I have not lived a perfect life. I have had some of the similar struggles as many of us who live here in Chester. But I am a person who, thankfully, because of my parents and my family, I have a different mindset. And so that's what I want to leave the listeners with, the residents of Chester, is the mindset that needs to change. We've had new leaders, but we haven't had a new mindset. And I'm bringing a new mindset to Chester. I want to reclaim and reframe our narrative. Our narrative right now is very negative. When I go out into certain spaces, people ask me, why do you still live in Chester? You don't sound like you live in Chester. Were you ever on drugs? How did you not get? I mean, the questions that I get are just really ridiculous. And I answer those questions. But for young people, how do they answer those questions? So let's reclaim and reframe our city. Let's reclaim our narrative. We deserve everything that other zip codes have. There's no reason why our city or cities like Chester throughout this country should be in the ways that they are. And we have to get to root causes of why we're in the situations that we're in, and this is a topic for another day, but I'll just leave it with this. When we began to integrate in society, we did not redistribute the wealth. Equal opportunity doesn't mean equity. Equal opportunity means that people have the same opportunities, but it's not always fitting for everyone. I can say I want a bike. You can give me a bike. We both can have a bike, but I might be shorter than you. So the same bike that we get may not fit me. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of work that we have to do, and I'm here to do it.
Well, I appreciate you stopping through. I appreciate you coming in. A lot of people don't want to come into the radio station, right? Because they don't want to be transparent. They don't want to be accountable. But, from the first conversation I had with your campaign manager, he seemed excited. We're also doing a debate. We're trying to do that, right? Where we have you, Stephon Roots, and Ms. Portia West sitting up front, right? This is what we need to give to our community, right? Our community needs to have moments of communication back and forth. Again, you know how I feel about the community. Communication and unity builds a strong community. Without communication, you're not going to get unity because you don't know what's going on. So until we come together to talk, we can't have peace. I want to thank everybody for tuning in again, right? This is Kearni Warren. She's running for Chester City Council. She's on the Green Party, which kind of sounds like the Democrat, but I'm not about to get into all that. I'll worry about that on another day. I promise you I will. New energy, absolutely, grow, man. That's what we need. We need new energy. We need new people. We need new understanding, and new relationships need to be founded. Right. This is a new day and age. Again, this is cmpradio.net. This is Uncle P. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm just saying If you look somebody up and you understand their do's and their don'ts and the things that they can do, you know, the things that they haven't done, right, you already know who should win. So it's cmpradio.net, man. It's your boy Uncle P, man. I'm wishing y'all to have a great day, right? Make sure you're giving good energy out there to the people that deserve it. And, yeah, man, make sure you look up Kearni Warren, man. Check her out, right? Chester City Council. She's running, right? Successful communities, financial responsibility, education reform, business development, healthy communities, trash pickup, curtail waste facilities, community health surveys, safe communities, park upkeep, police reform. That's what she's running on, right? And we definitely need to support that. So hit her up, check her out, Kearni Warren for Chester City Council. And you already know, man, it's Uncle P. I appreciate y'all. And I'm trying to bring this music up. Yeah, there it is. I want y'all to be safe, man. Peace.
What it look like? What it be like? They ain't gotta like it, they just gotta live with it.